Hey everybody, welcome back to Nobody Sports. This will actually be our second episode. Excited to be back here. Just a quick preface in case you missed the first one. This is a show for adults. We do make some inappropriate jokes, language, not for kids. That being said, though, if you like a couple of nobodies talking sports, this is the show for you. I'm Jay. This is Nick. How's it going?
I'm doing good. Awesome. Yeah, welcome back, everybody. We're excited to be here. Excited to have you back, and we hope you like the entertainment. Hope you like talking some NFL with us. So in our first episode, we did the AFC North, broke that division down, had some fun doing it. Now we're going to go to the AFC South.
Damn Confederates.
The South rises. Yeah. So
Roll Tide, roll.
Roll Tide. No, yeah.
Oh wait, that's college.
Yeah. So the AFC South, the division where multiple teams seem to be vying for the top 5 in the NFL pick in the NFL draft.
That could very well be. With it though, why I do think it's kind of easy to pick the division winner here. I will say each team surprisingly has some strengths that I didn't see because it's a division that really I don't know anybody follows. But I guess unless it's your team. But I mean,
right.
So when we did a deep dive into it, I mean each team had some surprising strengths that we liked, but each team definitely had some big question marks. That being said, though, it's the Texans' division to lose.
And the thing is, too, it is the Texans' division to lose, and it's the easy take as well at the same time, because of the other teams. You had two of those 3 teams were, 1 and 2 in the draft, and then the Colts, and, it's easy for the Texans to win. Now, with that being said, I'm trying to find ways to where the Texans don't win the division, right? And who is that?
Jags.
I
think have probably the best shot.
Yeah. So, but again, I think my take, if I had to put, it's an easy, I see the Texans winning it. So, but let's talk about the rest of how we see it shaking out. Let's start with the bottom. Who do we see finishing last in this division?
Well, I think we differ a little bit on this, but I see the Colts.
Yeah. I definitely don't see the Colts.
And I could see why. Because here's the thing. I will say this. With the exception of the most important position, the Colts actually have the most probably complete team in the division.
Yeah.
When you look at it, now, I mean, the offensive line isn't necessarily dominant, but it's a solid offensive line. Arguably best running back room in the NFL. The receiving core actually looks really solid. So the defense looks pretty solid, actually, a defensive line. Now, I will say the defensive line doesn't have a ton of depth, so health is key there. But if they can stay healthy, pretty solid.
I'm secondary excited for their solid. Tight end.
I think the secondary was kind of probably their biggest weakness, but like they have a lot of talent and potential. But my problem is that, so kind of what I said before with Richardson, 1, he doesn't stay healthy. Mm-hmm. 2, you can take about 25% of his film, and you're just like, wow, the potential. Yeah. Wow, did you see that throw? Oh my gosh. Right, just jumps off, it's insane. Some of the most exceptional plays just from a physically gifted human being, for sure. That being said, though, the other 75% of his film, I'm glad he's wearing a helmet because his bust was definitely shorter than everyone else's. Like the ineptitude that you see. And this is also a guy who pulled himself out of a game once previously.
No good.
I don't like it as your franchise quarterback. I don't care how physically gifted you are.
I liked your take on who they should have gotten, what direction they should have gotten.
Well, here's what I think is this is where I would like this team so much better if Aaron Rodgers went there instead of the Steelers, actually.
That's such an interesting take. It really is. Because I could see the potential there.
Yeah.
I really could. I like the wide receivers.
Tight end.
That's what I was going to get to, is that the wide receivers, I think you have a good core, just solid, not elite, not top 5 guys,
actually,
but top 20 guys.
They've had an aptitude at quarterback, and actually I do think a couple of those guys would be more highly regarded if they had competent quarterback play.
For sure. I really like the kid from Penn State. Being drafted as
Warren, the tight end.
The tight end. He's going to be Anthony Richardson's best friend. Yeah, I mean, if Richardson needs a good year this year, he absolutely does, right? He needs to stay healthy as well.
This is his 4th year, right?
Yeah, so,
okay.
He needs that tight end's going to be very important to him. The O-line's going to protect him. I mean, Quentin Nelson, the guard, stud, good O-line. So I'm not worried. It's the quarterback. It comes down to the quarterback.
No, the O-line looked bad last year because of the quarterback. You could see it on the film.
Yeah. No, I agree. And
you can't have, I don't care how physically gifted, you're not going to do well if your quarterback makes a good O-line look bad.
Yeah. Yeah. So while you go with Colts at the bottom, I'm going to stick with the Titans being there. I go back and forth between them and the Jags as my bottom team. Jacksonville got Travis Hunter. That's good. Tennessee, Cam Ward. I could be terribly wrong on this, right? Mm-hmm. Cam Ward could lead. I do think number one, I do think it was the right draft pick. Get the Titans getting Cam Ward, but bad offensive line, rookie quarterback does not equal success in the NFL, right? And that's what Cam Ward's going to have to overcome. So that's why I mean, don't get me wrong though. I love the Titans defense. Their defense, the reason that their defense statistically didn't look so hot last year was mainly because of their offense, right?
It was. So Will Levis, and actually, I don't hate their receiving core either.
No, I don't either. And I like Pollard, for running back. I think he's, great, good running back. Their defense is going to keep them in games.
They need a little bit more on edge rush.
If Cam Ward,
they're solid up front.
If Cam Ward wins the sack battle, I'm afraid that he's going to get sacked a lot, as rookie quarterbacks usually tend to do. But if he can stay upright, not turn the ball over, then yeah, I can't see the Titans not finishing last and maybe even getting like an 8-win season out of it. Similar to like how everyone viewed Jaden Daniels and the Commanders last year.
Right, that's going in. Everyone's talking about that the same way as the Commies last year.
Yeah.
And here's the thing is that something I will say is that if Cam Ward, which here's actually what I see. Now, I don't think Cam Ward, I don't think that they're this year's Commies, or Redskins, sorry, but whatever you want to call them. But that being said, I don't think that'll be the case, but I don't think they finish at the bottom because I do think I like where the Titans are at right now. I don't think this is their year.
I'm not saying that,
but I'm saying watch out for them. Give him another draft. I actually think he's good for a solid 6 to 7 wins.
Yeah,
I think that's where they finish.
I want to say that as well too. I do think the Titans are in a good spot, right? Are they going to make the playoffs? No. But are they going to take a step forward? I do believe so. I absolutely believe so. I just think though that I think the Colts have gotten better in my opinion, and the Jaguars have gotten a little bit better, and I just see the Titans still, maybe, okay, if they don't get to 8 wins, maybe 6 wins, but still, basement. And then I feel Jacksonville's right there with, I like the Colts a little bit better than you do, but again, only because I think of those 3 teams, Colts, Jaguars, and Titans, I think the Colts are the more complete of the team all around.
But their quarterback.
Right, exactly.
That kills it. So here's the one thing I will say.
I wonder if Cam Ward went to the Colts. You might feel different about the Colts then. That's
you feel a lot different.
With the Colts, I think it all hinges on Richardson.
100%.
And the NFL is a team game, right? It's not won or lost by one player. It very rarely is.
But the quarterback is huge. Actually, the quarterback is the one position that's pretty huge.
They have an impact, a big impact, right? And, does he play? Does he want to play? Those are the questions. Does he play? And are we going to see, him just, being a highlight reel? Or are we going to see, God, there's this one play, this highlight where he just throws the ball away and then the guy scoop and score. Literally he did this. I don't need the ball anymore. But the defense is all around me. You take it.
He doesn't. So here's my problem with him too.
It's terrible.
It's actually, which is an interesting thing. So Sean Payton, going into last year's draft, only had 2 quarterbacks on his board that he was interested in.
Yeah.
He had Jaden Daniels first and Bo Nix second. Right. Nobody else was on his list.
Right.
Those were by far the 2 best rookie quarterbacks out of that draft.
Yeah.
And when they asked him about what he does to evaluate quarterbacks, the first thing he looks at, it's a quarterback stat, is sacks.
Right.
Your elite quarterbacks don't get sacked. And Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels with long college careers had great instincts at avoiding sacks.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Richardson's instincts are disgusting.
Yeah. And that's where I think,
you can't have ineptitude, and I just don't see it improving. And that's where, and also, is he even going to stay healthy?
I mean, that's just it,
He's young, and he still can't stay healthy.
That's just it.
This is when his body's at its strongest.
Let's so let's talk a little bit about the Jags. Trevor Lawrence.
So I actually, here's the thing, in researching the Jags, so I've been pretty hard on Trevor Lawrence, but actually when I look at it last year, there's some interesting stats. Mm-hmm. So he had a terrible offensive line, but the offensive line was top 10 in sacks allowed. But a lot of that had to do with him getting rid of the ball so fast.
Which is
good. So he's overcoming a bad offensive line, actually, in a lot of ways. But one thing I guess I like, though, is that so the offensive line is still a little bit of a question mark, but I think on offense they're going to be great. They've got weapons upon weapons upon weapons on offense. They're stacked on offense. Their offense is just as stacked as the Texans' defense, right? But then you get to their defense, and holy hell is that a problem.
I'm going to say this. I think watching Jaguar football games might be entertainment football this year. You're going to see it's going to be 38-35 a lot of games.
I think we can't see a lot of that yet. I do think that Trevor Lawrence actually does bounce back with Cohen. I like what they have offensively. I really do.
Yeah.
So they've got who's it, the tank guy, and then Etienne at running back. They've got Bigsby. Yep. They've got a very underrated running back room.
Their wide receiver room.
Brian Thomas Jr.
Well, so their wide receiver room is young. You've got 3 rookie wide receivers. They went 3 wide receivers in this year's draft. Travis Hunter and then the 2 Iowa State boys.
And Knoll. Watch out for Knoll.
And I think all 3 of those picks were good picks. I like all 3. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can't say, what are you going to tell me about Hunter that, the kid's good?
Here's what's going to be key, though. Even with a bad defense, so in today's NFL, you can actually, because the Chiefs did it, but here's the thing that people don't talk about the Chiefs. When they won their first Super Bowl, their defense wasn't actually that great. But when you look at it in the playoffs, because of coaching and Spags, situationally, they were great.
Yeah.
Right? So on third down, the plays that matter, right? Like, so overall for the game, it's like, yeah, they gave up, 4.5 rushing yards per carry, but on third down, they only gave up 1.2 yards, right? Mm-hmm. So you see, so like, if the Jaguars, and I don't even know because they have a very young coaching staff, I don't even know who their DC is, but if their defensive coordinator can just get that defense to be good situationally, mm-hmm. then that's where the Jags win the division. If they can have a situationally good defense.
Yeah.
But just solid.
I love their offense, though. I do. It's going to be... But here's the thing. Is Trevor Lawrence going to turn the ball over? He's had a problem with that. Mm-hmm. And so he needs to overcome that. And... it's the same. Sacks and turnovers. That's that.
Well, I think he was. The other thing I found out too. He was playing hurt last year before he finally went out. So
really,
yeah. So he was hurt a lot of the year, mm-hmm. But because of the bad O line. And this is something that concerns me though. Still, I don't like having the bad O line, even with Lawrence kind of overcoming. I do think Cohen helps with that. Mm-hmm. I think they use the running backs more. But like, what happens when you play the Eagles?
Yeah.
In the middle of your O-line just gets wrecked, right?
Right.
Right.
So you got Colts at the bottom. I've got Titans at the bottom. So that Jaguars are in the middle, right? Is where we see them, or at least where you see them too.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the Texans.
The concerns that I have with the Texans, though, because we said every team, and we didn't really cover this earlier, but the Texans are stacked on defense without any depth, and that's a concern.
Right.
So Gardner Johnson already probably out for the season, which is horrible.
Right.
That hurts them a lot because the one area in their defense, they're going to be able to lock down your receivers, and they're going to get pressure on your quarterback, and they're pretty good at stuff in the run. But where you can get them is with running backs out of the backfield and tight ends. And Gardner Johnson is one of those guys who can eliminate your top tight end. He can match up well with them.
Yeah.
That hurts them a little bit. And that's what I'm saying is that, so now you get one more injury. Stingley Jr. or Latimer goes down. That secondary is not as stacked now.
For sure.
Right?
I mean,
they get one. Will Anderson Jr. goes down.
For sure.
All of a sudden, their pass rush is, so that's so the depth is weak there. And then the offensive line. So C.J. Stroud, I thought a lot of it was a sophomore slump, and some of it was, but actually his offensive line was terrible last year. Terrible.
Yeah, they were, and so they're going to have to overcome that a lot. I love their defense, though, to get back onto that subject for just a quick sec. I mean, Stingley Jr., like I was saying the other day, Patrick Surtain, is he one of one? I mean, that guy is just that damn good. But then I forgot about Stingley, and I was like, oh, shoot,
I actually think Stingley Jr. might be the one of one.
God, that guy's
It's so tough though, because Surtain, I see Pat Surtain.
And then they got Latimer, and then they got
P. It starts with a P. It's a weird last name. It's probably French.
But I love that. Petrie. Those three quarterbacks. That might be the best three trio, quarterbacks in the NFL, right there. Or room. Some other teams might have an opinion about that, of course, but
again, the depth.
It's
tough with the depth.
It is. I like. Okay, so C.J. Stroud didn't have a great sophomore campaign, right? Quarterbacks usually third year is kind of a money year historically for a few quarterbacks. So I'm excited to see, is this going to be the year where people, in fantasy, probably people went a lot of high on C.J. Stroud last year. I know in my league they did. So I think maybe this is the year, maybe not bad idea to double down on that. So I do think the Texans definitely are going to win this division, but I'm just trying to search for another way. And I easily see them. I see Texans at minimum 10 wins. At minimum.
I will say this, though, for the fantasy football guys out there, the Jaguars could have some interesting pieces like Lawrence that might be good for your fantasy team. Like you
Jaguars
get Thomas Jr.
good for that.
At receiver, and that they could carry you offensively because their defense is bad, so they're gonna have to score.
I'm not gonna lie, my team plays this division this year, so I'm definitely now very interested in this division. But the more I learn about this division, the more there's a lot of fun pieces in this division. I think you're going to get a lot of good divisional games. I think in years past, I've always looked at, Titans, Jags, next game.
Isn't that what's great with the NFL, though? You even look at a team that sucks, and then you do a deep dive, and you're like, I didn't know they had, they might, But, people forget that, you have to be such a freak athlete just to ride the bench.
Right.
For an NFL that sometimes all it takes is that quarterback to come in, and then you got a commie situation to really bring in, all of a sudden that player who was playing at a B level, now they're excited. They have something to believe in, right? Because they actually have a chance on Sunday now consistently. And now they're playing at an A- level, which is huge in the NFL. It's because it's the little things.
It is.
It really is.
It is. It is.
There's a lot of mega talented guys that I've seen coming through the draft. Who's it? Chris Conley for the Chiefs. He's not really done hardly anything in the NFL. That dude is such a freak athlete, though. Whenever they drafted him, I was excited about him. I was seeing him do this crap where he's jumping on tires and crap and just doing insanely athletic stuff. And the guy can barely stay on an NFL roster.
Yeah.
With 4.340 speed, and he doesn't even have a problem with drops.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Let me ask you this, though. If it's not the Texans, let's just say you can't pick the Texans, who do you pick winning the division? Who do you see most likely doing that? If it's
here's the thing, though. Do the Colts finally get tired of Richardson and then bring in Kirk Cousins or something before the trade deadline?
They got Danny Dimes.
Oh, that's right. They got Colts have okay, so Danny Dimes is there. Okay, so here's well. Gosh, this is tough because I don't like the Jaguars O-line and their defense. I don't. But they do have probably the next best quarterback.
Yeah.
And I do, even though he was really creepy with his Duval, like holy, he looked like that was bad. It was a bad look for Earl Cohen. But
not a good look for the program.
That being said, though, the dude he's a whiz with X's and O's.
Yeah.
So I do expect some sparks from that offense. I do think the offense makes a leap. I think that he figures out how to make the O-line look even better and kind of overcome that with scheme. Lawrence has already kind of been overcoming that with bad coaching. So that's the thing is the Jags finally might have a little bit of continuity with a good coach. And they haven't had a good coach in a while.
Right. I would pick the Colts. I think the Colts can overcome it. I see him finishing second. I almost
went with them, but that's only if Danny Dimes comes in and Danny Dimes looks like Danny Dimes.
You have no faith in Richardson.
None.
Yeah.
He pulled himself out of a game. Have you seen the low? Most of his game film is not good. Over half of his game film is. I get that 25%. That's just magical. Right? That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. One every freaking 20 snaps, the dude fucking does an amazing play. The other 19, he's all like, hey, let me take off running. You're like, great run. And then he's like, I could slide right here. I've already got the first down. Nah, I'm going to dive head first into 3 middle linebackers and get sandwiched because that seems like a great idea today. It's not like I'm the fucking quarterback. Get out of here, dude. How many times have you seen him do that? He runs towards contact like a moron.
Yeah.
Dude, you're not a running back.
So you went with Colts as your basement team. So you definitely like Jaguars in that to overcome it. And then I think we both kind of agree too. I mean, I think you said the Jaguars might be the X factor, but
I think this division needs to watch out because in 2 years I think the Titans start running. But
maybe the Titans start early on that train, right? They could start early being the X factor. So we'll see. Fun division. I think it'll be a fun division.
The other thing that makes it tough, too, with bad teams is you wonder how much of that is because there is still a human element, and you like to say, oh, everyone's professional. I guarantee you there's a huge difference between playing for like a Kansas City Chiefs or a Philadelphia Eagles and how excited you are and how hard and how much effort you really put in versus when you're stuck with the Browns.
I don't know about that.
I guarantee you it doesn't affect everyone, but I guarantee you it does affect the locker room. Because at some point when it's week 8 in the season, you know damn well you don't have a chance in hell and you're not a contender.
I mean, fans may not want to hear this, but it is the truth. I mean, to a lot of these, not to a lot of these guys, but to some of these guys, winning and losing is important. They want to win. They don't want to lose.
Of course.
But at the end of the day, it's a business and it's a job.
But we've all played sports, and you and I both, though, even when you put I'm not saying they're not putting their best foot forward. What I'm saying is in the back of your mind, you can lie to everybody else. You can't lie to yourself. You know if you're a contender or not. You really know if you've got something special. And when you know by week 4 or 5, this isn't special, even when you're putting your best foot forward, I think that does make a lot of potential A players, B and C players.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, and especially by like the second quarter, it's like, oh, well, my quarterback got sacked 4 times, has thrown 3 interceptions. And, but hey, he did do that one wow play. So we've got 1 touchdown and we're down 21 points. Yeah, I'm excited to go out there. Let's get her done. No, it's not, so I do wonder about that factor. If Cam Ward could come in, and I think he will. If he can really bring some hope to that team, I could really see them, go maximum effort.
Yeah.
And when you got an NFL roster going maximum effort, that's
I'm
a good
excited
thing.
to see what the Titans can do. I really am. I'll tell you
I'm excited for their upside.
I have them as my bottom team, but I'm more excited about them than I am about the Jaguars or the Colts. I'll tell you that. I'm impressed with the Texans. I do think they've got a good vibe, good team thing going.
They lost Tunsil, though.
Yeah,
that offensive line. That's what worries me about them.
But they did draft a replacement, possibly with Emercy or something like that.
Right. Here's my problem with him, though, is that so he could end up actually Emery. And Emery. That's what I was going to say before on the Texans is that Emery is a huge factor for them.
Yeah.
Because the middle of their offensive line is already weak. They need the tackle spots to be solid. Here's the thing with Emery. Emery's a fucking tank. You don't push Emery back.
No.
But that being said, though, if you're athletic, if you're like a Von Miller in his prime, Emery is not fast enough. Emery does get beat by athletic ends, and that's his problem. You can get him going one direction and juke him out really easy.
Right.
But
he'll adapt.
Give him an off season though.
Yeah.
And he's one of those guys who I can't think of it. Who's the right tackle the Eagles have had forever? He's one of the best in the league. Same thing that when he was coveted in the draft, because I think he was originally like a second round pick or something, but a lot of people thought he would be good, but it was the same thing. It's like, because he was, same thing. You're not pushing him around. But in college, I think he's the same problem. Yeah. So same kind of comp, and he, Hall of Fame career, one of the best, if not the best right tackle in the NFL.
Right.
God, why can't I think of his fucking Jason Kelsey would kill me. I can't believe I can't think of his name.
I know.
I don't know Jason Kelsey, by the way, so he probably wouldn't kill me. But he's
not
disappointed.
A big Eagles supporter myself, but
I get that.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that. Me either.
Yeah.
Like, they just fucking stomped. Well, actually, I got to give my hats off to him. They came out and played a fucking game.
Yeah.
They were not to be denied that Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that about wraps it up. I think we covered it all.
It's important to wrap it up. STDs are bad. Anyway. Yeah.
Take that advice, kids. Boys and girls, it's good advice.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
You left the door open.
Good episode 2. More to
so.
come. I think the next thing we'll be doing is breaking down the AFC East and then wrapping it up with the West.
The West is probably going to be the longer video because
Yeah.
the West is the division in the AFC that's, I think, the most
I imagine
interesting.
you have something to say.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I could go on. We could have a 3-hour show.
Yeah, I bet we could.
About the West. Fuckers in your Mahomes district. He's washed. Get the fuck out of here.
But again, hopefully you guys like it. Like, follow, subscribe. Again, I'm Nick. This is Jay. Nobody Sports. And we'll see you again.
Oh, yeah, and if you didn't like it, go fuck yourself.
Fuck yourself.
All right.
Later.
Peace.